tell us about your parents, your country, your culture.
My country. Well, I was born on the coast of Spain, as far west as you can go, with a lot of seafood, a lot of shellfish, and of course, the fields over there, everybody has a big garden. So in my house, most of what we ate was fresh and was cultivated by my mother, and which she had a farm. But it was, as far as my bringing up, was a great time. It was fantastic. I grew up under Franco.
A dictator.
A dictator, so-called dictator, of course. As far as I'm concerned, I wish for everybody to have a fantastic opportunity to grow the way I did. We never had anything that differed from having fun and being a child and go and do whatever you want anytime you want. We didn't have to be at 8 o'clock in church or be 7 o'clock in the house. We went and come as we please. Okay, it wasn't any difference than it is in any other country. But it's a little bit more because actually when Franco, since he was very involved with the church, all the old holidays that were forgotten, they were brought up. And at one time or the other, during each month of the year, there were some type of festivities or festivals in some place where you could attend and have fun and music and food outside. And
so that's where your influence came from to want to give back and get so involved with community events and having festivals and music, and that was part of your childhood.
Well, that is probably a big part of it, yeah, because I grew up in an atmosphere of festivals and outside food and the park.
Now, your mom and your dad, I've heard you admire them for years and the influence they had on you, and your ethics, your traditions, and the Spanish cultures. I think everybody's fallen in love with the Spanish cuisine and the whole tradition of Spain. But tell us a little bit about your mom and dad. Obviously, they're important to you. Tell us a little bit about them.
Well, to start with, they were pretty different. You know, my mother was 100% Celtic, while my father was from the south of Spain. So he has other types of blood in it. But my mother was a redhead, practically, and both of them were pretty strong people as far as how they were going to teach the kids. They had 7 kids, and they were very strong and very united about how to educate the kids. It was only one way. It couldn't be 2 ways. So I don't care if they were upset with each other sometimes or something. When it came to tell the kids what to do, we did. And then we didn't see a lot of my father. Unfortunately, we didn't see, because he was a chef in a passenger boat, and he would spend a number of months out at sea, and then he would come and stay at home for 2 or 3 months. And during those 2 or 3 months, you know, it was you almost make up for all the time that was lost. And he was very involved with us, and he was very involved in cooking at the house.
Now, your mother must have been a pretty special woman. One, to put up with you as a kid, and then to have a husband that was gone a lot, and to raise a spitfire like you. Yeah. She had her hands full.
Well,
how did she influence you?
I don't think I was exactly the worst.
That didn't come till later.
But yeah, she was a very special woman. She in reality is the one that had to raise the kids, because like I say, when my dad came home, it was a lot more fun with him over there than discipline, even when they were all on the same level how things were supposed to be. But actually, the one that disciplined us was our mother. Very seldom our father ever say anything to us, but my mother did tell us a lot of times, When your dad gets here, he's going to know everything about it, and you see what happens. And that definitely was something that we didn't want. We didn't want our dad to get mad with us because we had such a fantastic relation with him. But my dad, like I say, was a chef. My mother was a wonderful cook. Okay? So as I said before, my mother had a farm and worked on the farm and had a big garden with everything, onions, green beans, and over there where we live, you could cultivate the whole year. You take out finish with onions and you plant green beans or peas or do radishes or cabbage or kale. And during the whole year, you can go to the garden and you pick something that you want to eat, that you want to cook with. So most of us, as we grow up, we left the house and we went to other areas to work or to be with other parts of the family that were in the business of the restaurant business. And the ones that stay at home, you had a choice. Learn how to cook and cook for everybody that was working in the fields and in the farm, so that when they got home, they had food. Or go and work. Well, I learned pretty quick that was a lot easier to stay home and learn how to cook. So I surprised my mother a couple times. I pay a lot of attention to what she was doing. A lot of times when she came home, I surprised the heck out of her because I had the food made. So that paved my way to staying in the house.
So it sounds to me like you got a little confused. You weren't sure which way to go because I see you with a passion for cooking, but anybody that's seen your house knows that you have just as great of a passion for farming.
That's correct. And I'm still, I was going to say, when you say that I was confused, I didn't know which way to go. I'm still there. I'm still don't know which way do I go. I love cooking, is one of my passions, but gardening is part of my life. I cannot take it away from me. Today, it was 33 degrees. I was outside cleaning my garden. So that tells you
Let's talk a little bit about family, because I've never seen you smile more than when you see your family, your daughter, your son, Rafa, Jose, your grandchildren. It just you have such a passion for being with your family, and I've noticed the work ethics have passed on to the next generation.
Yeah, well, in Spain, the family is everything, and everything you do with those bases, that the family is everything, and you go from there. And what we try to learn with the family is that every time, and that's something that my dad told me, anytime he talked about his grandfather or his father and talks about memories, and he always told me, now it's time for me to make memories with you guys. And at that time, you don't pay a lot of attention. It's not that you really focus on that. You know, you're having a good time, you're going, and the memories, okay, the memories are memories. But as I grew older and I have kids and grandkids, I remember those words perfectly. And they make all the sense in the world because you're the one that is making the memories. You make the memories. So you make fun times and good times and enjoyable times. I'm not saying that in my family, once in a while, we disagree on something, especially if we talk politics, you know. We really are far apart in politics, but we always look for the opportunity to get together and to have a good time and enjoy life, and that is our thing. And I think my kids are doing the same thing with their kids. My son, every opportunity he has to come and stay at my house and have dinner and bring the kids to my house, he does that. Even this Sunday we got together, and he knows that I always buy camouflage for the kids and all that because I hunt. Both of them were all dressed in camouflage, you know, and they were smiling and happy that they were going to make Abuelo happy. Well, they make Abuelo happy no matter what, but it's what we're talking about is something that you create. You create a memory. You create, because someday we are going to remember, or they are going to remember, not as much myself as saying that Hey, remember when we went to Bass Pro to have lunch with Abuelo and we were all in camouflage? Well, are those things and many other things that really makes life such a fantastic thing. So those are the bigger and strongest things in a family to get together, is to make good times and to make memories. And if you have that in your mind that you are going to make memories every time you get together, everything is going to go okay.
That's a strong statement. Let's talk wine.
Let's
talk
wine. It's my passion. Not only I have a passion for wine, because that is something you didn't say before, that my mother and her farm cultivate a lot of wine. She made wine for the whole year. We never went out to buy wine. The wine was made at home. And actually, I remember when I was small, I used to be the one that goes inside the barrels to smash the grapes with two other guys from
and that's
town.
where you learn to be a world-class dancer.
No, that's exactly it. But you know what? I think that got inside my skin, and that's why I like wine so much. I love wine.
Tell us a little bit about your wine. Now, you make port, which is a dessert wine.
I don't make port. There is a difference, okay, from making port and blending port.
Okay.
I blend. And most of the wineries that are around here, okay, and Lake County and Porter County and all that, other that they have their own fields, they blend. They get from somewhere else, they get the juice, they get the alcohol, and that's what I do. I get the juice, I get the things, and I have the recipe to blend the port. So it's a big difference between making and blending, but I do.
Now, wine, I've heard you lead crowds and give seminars and speeches on wine, and tell us a little bit about wine. I mean, and what is your short version of what is your favorite wine? What makes wine special? Why do you feel Spanish wine is significantly different from other wines? Is it where it comes from? Is it the environment, the culture?
Well, to answer your questions, as far as wine, what is my favorite wine? Favorite wines you acquire. My favorite grape is a blend, and it's a Tempranillo and Cabernet. Now, if I don't have the blend, I like Tempranillo as well as I like Cabernet. And, of course, I can drink any other wine that is over there. I can drink a Pinot Noir. I can drink almost any red wine. But if I'm going to choose, that's the ones I'm going to drink. The Spanish wines. Well, Spanish wines is probably the older wines that are in the world, starting with France. And they start practically at the same time. France, they wines. France, they knew what to do. They start becoming very popular right away, while the Spanish wines lag behind a little bit, but not far behind, okay? The areas where the wines are grown, France and Rioja are basically in the same area, same amount of sun, same amount of humidity and everything else. The Spanish wines, right now, it grew to different areas, fantastic areas, virgin areas that never had anything cultivated on them. They produce fantastic wines. I think that nowadays we pass France and wines over here in the United States. No doubts about it, that we did, Spanish wines. Not only the consumptions, but in the quality, in the way it's done. French still have very expensive wines, and you have to spend a lot of money to get a good French wine. You can spend very little money and get a good Spanish wine. But then in Spain, we have one thing that other countries don't have, is the aging of the wine. It's aged in the barrels and it's aged in the bottle. For instance, if you read in the label that is a crianza, that wine has been from 12 to 18 months in the barrel before it was bottled, and then whatever time they want to give in the barrel. Now, if you're talking about Reserva, it's between 18 and 24 to 30 months. If you're talking about Gran Reserva, between 24 and 48 months. Over here, for instance, in the United States, in California, in Sonoma, on Napa, was business. You want to make it, you want to sell it, you want to make money. They start learning right now, and they start doing that. They start putting wines away. But till now they didn't. But in Spain, they've been doing that for a long, long time. That is what makes a difference between the Spanish wines and wines from other countries. We take our time doing everything. That's why I have such beautiful kids. I took my time doing that.
Well, I'd like to set this up as a teaser for the fact that sometime soon we'll be doing another shoot in your cellar.
Right.
And your cellar is probably the most prominent wine cellars in the area, if not the state.
With wine, you're probably right. I have a good cellar. I have a lot of wine. I have a friend here in Valparaiso that has a cellar, and he's not a restaurant, it's not a business. He has a cellar that is twice the size of mine and has probably twice as many bottles as I do. So wines, you have what you have. I happen to have very good wines, and I go all the way to 1980 in my wines. And I think that it will surprise a lot of people to see the kind of wines that are down there.
Okay, the restaurant, Don Quijote, wasn't always easy. You started, 30 years ago?
Almost 31 years ago.
31 years
ago? Yeah,
ago?
it wasn't easy, no. It's a lot harder to start a business for over here in the United States than it is in Spain. And of course, one of them, because I'm completely aware of the culture over there, so I know what I'm working with, I know what to expect. You have good food, you have good service, you have a business rolling. Over here, in the United States, for me was extremely hard because there were not any other Spanish restaurants around.
And you're the only one in the state?
I'm still the only one in the state, but...
Only Spanish cuisine?
Yes. That is not a good thing when you start 31 years ago.
Well, everybody knew you would be successful up front, right?
Who? Myself, I knew.
But you didn't quit.
No, but I will tell you a story later. But right now, what I'm trying to tell you is that one of the hardest things to deal with when you start a Spanish restaurant 31 years ago is that any word in Spanish that you put as the name of the restaurant automatically becomes Mexican. And it's a constant fight to educate people and customers in the difference between Spanish and Mexican.
And they're very different.
Very different on everything, and each one has its uniqueness and its wonderful way of cooking and doing things, and each one is wonderful. But Spain is Spain, Mexico is Mexico.
And Spanish food is Mediterranean.
But that is still mistaken today. Nowadays, we still have people coming over here and they still want tacos, okay? So imagine 31 years ago was about 90% of the people that came through that door, they were surprised that we didn't have salsa.
So do you feel like you're on a mission to educate people that they're of the difference in the cuisine and the heritage that you've brought over?
I don't know if I'm on a mission to educate people and to do that. I'm on a mission to succeed in business and to be able to offer my customers the best I have. And the best way to do that is to educate people. The more people know about what you are and what you do and what you are, the more successful you're going to become. Okay, when I opened this business 31 years ago, Lambrusco and Rio Niti and wine coolers was the in thing, okay? I started my way through sangria because it was the closest thing I came. When you talk about dry red wine, wow, I don't know if I can drink that.
So what is your favorite white wine?
A bad red wine.
I had to set you up for that.
Yeah, but today, 90% of the customers that we have coming in this restaurant, they know enough about wines to choose it by grape, by country, by year. It's incredible. It's not so much the money, but it's the knowledge that they have anymore about good wines. That didn't happen 31 years ago. So that is a door that we went through and we can shut, because it's there already. Same thing with the food. The Spanish cuisine right now became so well known all over the United States, and if not just the whole cuisine, the trend of the tapas, the small little appetizers, is everywhere. Even our normal restaurants are offering tapas nowadays. So definitely that is a big improvement of what we have.
And the one thing I've noticed is amongst your peers and your friends, it's very cool now to have their version of sangria. And the big question at many parties is, how do I compare to Carlos's? And I noticed tapas is becoming popular, and people are, and that it has to be one of the most profound signs of respect, that your influence. How many cities out there do you see people bragging that they're trying to make their own paella, or they have their own sangria, or the popularity of Spanish wine in this town? It's a badge of honor when you say, I'm serving Spanish wine at my party today.
I agree with you that there is Spanish wines and a lot of people, but the influence is not entirely mine. The Spanish influence is so spent all over the place by other people that travel, other people that have went to Spain. A lot of people travel, about hundreds of people travel with me to Spain in my trips. So every time these people go in Spain, they learn how to eat, they learn how things, and then they start looking in the internet or books how to cook. So my influence is very small compared with the influence of other things that are out there to have an effect on these people.
You could take the same wine, same food, and put it anywhere, and it would not be the same experience as coming here.
Well, I hope so. And that is the things that I worked the hardest in the restaurant with all the people that work for me. Everybody has good people working for me, and I have good people working for me. That doesn't take away that you have to teach them how to give people an experience, how to give people the service, how to give people this thing that everybody should get when they go to a restaurant. It's not over here. The experience should be for one restaurant. Of course, I want the experience to be in this restaurant. It's why I work the hardest for, is to offer people over here an experience. When they walk out of here, I want them to have a word that you cannot even describe, that they enjoy, that they had a good time, that it's going to be in their minds.
Well, let's finish this with this. How would you describe Valpo in a word?
Valpo, in a word, I think is exactly what I thought was going to be when I started the restaurant over here. I started the restaurant over here because Valpo was a small community, had a university. I was introducing something in Indiana that nobody ever heard about, a Spanish restaurant. And I need to be around people that were a little bit more knowledgeable than the average in other communities. And so far, I cannot make a mistake, and I didn't make a mistake on that because the people in Valparaiso are wonderful, and they have been giving me 31 years over here.
So what's the word? One word describing Valpo.
Paradise.
Thanks, Carlos. Cheers.
Salud.